Welcome to the channel, Be the Change. I wanted to ask, so millions of people out there are not taking responsibility for their inner self. And so it creates a lot of problems personally for the people not taking responsibility for themselves. It creates a lot of problems, and it creates a lot of problems for the people around them. So I wanted to ask, how can you take responsibility for your inner self? How can you take responsibility for your inner self? And we're going to make 3 piles. Pile number 1. Okay, the thread. How can you take responsibility for your inner self? The dead end. Okay. How can you take responsibility for your inner self? The mirror. Okay. So then we have here pile number 1. We got pile number 2. And we got pile number 3. How can you take responsibility for your inner self? Pile number 1, pile number 2, and pile number 3. Pile number 1 with the thread. Pile number 2, dead end. Pile number 3, the mirror. Welcome to the card picking process. I'm asking, how can you take responsibility for your inner self? And why would you even want to take responsibility for your inner self when that is something that nobody can see? Because it will improve everything in your life. That's why. Because you only have a number of years here on planet Earth. And I don't know about you, but I want to make the most of it. I want my years here on planet Earth to be good. I want them to count. And I want to be of value to my fellow human beings. So how can you take responsibility for your inner self? How can you take responsibility for your inner self? And how can you take responsibility for your inner self? How can you take responsibility for your inner self? I think it is quite remarkable how the stories come out. It is very fascinating. How can you take responsibility for your inner self? That's the question. How can you take responsibility for your inner self? How can you take responsibility for your inner self? Tarot cards. Got 1, 2 of these. Two of these ones. First time use. What's it called again? I should have all the names. I could have all the names. I do have them somewhere. Maybe I'll pick it up. How can you take responsibility for your inner self and allow for growth in your internal world? Everything is going to feel different. You're going to move different through the world. Everything you do is going to be different. How can you take, Leo, responsibility for your inner self? How can you take responsibility for your inner self? We have pile number 1, the thread. Got pile number 1, the thread. Got pile number 2, dead end. And we got pile number 3 with the mirror. And that's it. How can you take responsibility for your inner self? Pile number 1, the thread. Pile number 2, the dead end. Pile number 3, the mirror. I will see you all in your reading. Pile number 1, how can you take responsibility for your inner self? These are your cards. This is your message right here. You were drawn to the card of the thread. The thread is a very interesting card, especially in conjunction with how you can take responsibility for your inner self. So pile number 1 wakes up in the morning. Pile number 1 feeling confused. Pile number 1 stressed out. Another day. Dang it. But pile number 1 is responsible. Pile number 1 has willpower. So pile number 1 gets up in the morning, goes about their day. And there's just so much chaos. There's just so many things that doesn't make any sense. And pile number 1 walking around with this feeling of unease. And maybe even more like fear or being frightened in a way in their own life. And the thread card that pile number 1 got drawn to is about that inner stillness that is possible amidst of all of the chaos. And so deep within pile number 1, waking up in the morning dissatisfied, going through the day, feeling accomplished, but still kind of dissatisfied. Deep within this pile number 1 is a knowing that there is something better. There is something great. There is a different way of life. This is why pile number 1 got drawn to the thread. Inside of pile number 1, there is this little seed that is starting to take root, a little knowledge that is going to embrace the soul of pile number 1. And this is the first card that came out, was the medicine woman, medicine man. This is an inner knowledge that you have the capability of inner healing. You have the capability of healing yourself. You are a natural healer. You are born a healer. And we forget it as we grow up. And when you start doing the healing on the inside, everything in your outer world will change automatically with it. So doing the internal world, how you can take responsibility for your inner self is, no, you don't have to do it. But if you want a better life, yeah, then you have to do it. Then you have to take responsibility for your inner self. Millions of people don't do this. This is why they're miserable and they're sad and they have to take medicine to cope with another day, and they're all depressed, and they don't even know if they can keep going any longer. And that's the state of a lot of people. And so taking responsibility for your inner self is a gift that you have, that you can now you can manifest whatever you want on the outside, because you're clearing out your internal self. And that healing power, you have it already. Sometimes, often healing needs to occur on the inside before it can manifest. And what kind of vision do you hold in your head? So medicine woman, medicine man, pile number 1, knowing that there is more to life, that there is an inner healing that can and will take place in pile number 1's life. I won't cry for you is another message that's coming out here. So, you know, people love it when some people, I would say not everybody, some people love it when other people are crying over them and other people are like, oh my gosh, I can't live without you. And oh my gosh, my life is in ruins now that you're not in it. I cannot go on. This is horrible. I cannot do without you. And then some people love being that other person that they can't live without. So they are going to do everything they can to pile number one to make them stuck. To make sure that pile number one keeps crying for them. They're going to make sure that pile number one keeps calling them. They're going to make sure that pile number one feels insecure and out of sorts so that pile number one will come crawling back to them. Pile number one, though, is like, you know what? Fudge that. I'm over it. Now, I'm going to take my power back and I'm going to take responsibility for my inner self. It's okay to grieve. It's okay to feel sad. It's okay to feel disappointed and all that stuff. It's okay. Just allow it to be. Feel it fully and go through it and set a new aim. Make a new aim for yourself. Maybe you want someone lifting you up instead of someone who likes it when you cry over them. Maybe you want someone who is there supporting you on your journey because they love you and they want to see you succeed. And perhaps you want someone who is encouraging. When you wake up in the morning, there is someone there who is encouraging, and together you can encourage each other into your day and make it so that it's more fulfilling with everything that you do. You didn't change anything that you do in your life. Your life looks the same. The routines are the same. But the person, pile number one, waking up in the morning with excitement because now pile number one knows how to take responsibility and let that anger and the grief and the resentment go. Also, pile number one, emotions are natural and necessary part of life, but they can also distort your perception. This is why. They can make you distort your perception and cloud your vision. In order to see things clearly, you must let go of resentment. Resentments are, let's see, old anger and disappointment and betrayal, maybe packed up in a little gift that you just hang on to it and you drag it along with you in your life. And for the most part, it's out of sight, out of mind. It's just laying there in the background until it comes back up again when something triggers it or something. So those resentments, those things, you have to forgive the situation. You have to forgive yourself. You have to forgive the other people. Not for the other people's sake. They're not going to change because you forgive them, but you let them go. This is the whole thing. I won't cry for you anymore. I'm done. I'm over it. I got better things to do with my life than to sit here and cry over someone. Basically, there are too many things in life that are too good to be ignored just for sitting there and crying over someone else. It's not worth it. And it's also taking breaking up to a person. It's not just breaking up to a person. You are also breaking up with a part of yourself, your hopes with this person, your dreams with this person, your expectations with this person or of this person's. You're also having to let go of feelings and memories that are with this person. Sometimes those feelings can be more resentment than love. And maybe the only reason why you're hanging on to it by a thread is because you think they're going to change. And you hope that you are the one. I am the one. I am special. So I am the one. They're going to change for me. And then you keep loving them and loving them and loving them, trying to love them back into empathy, trying to love them back into compassion and caring, trying to love the strength out of them while they are breaking you down at the same time. That is unbalanced. And it cannot, and it will not give you what you want and what you need, unless you just want to be sad. Then stay there, and you can do that. That's free will. But if you want to take responsibility for your inner self, this is one part that you have to go within there. You already have the inner healer in you, and you already kind of know what to do, how to heal it. And you can search it on YouTube. You can search any kind of Googling. You can do any kind, you can get all the world's answers to your question on how to heal that. And so it's there. Storyteller showing up here is another way to, so the shadow attribute is making up stories that harm others. Sometimes people like Like I've talked to people who were like, they were, what's it called? Obsessed liars or whatever. They can't help it, but they just lie all the time and they just make up stories all the time. Sometimes I would sit there and I would listen to the stories because imagination can be, can be interesting, very interesting. Can be imagination of people can be very interesting, and so I would sit there sometimes and listen to the stories and be entertained by them. But it's for the person telling the stories, they are not in a good place within themselves. And so, and also, especially if they're making up stories, they go around and gossip and they make up stories about other people to make themselves just feel better in the moment. You know how it is sometimes if you mention someone's name, then everybody's ears perk up and then they want to listen because you have something to say about them. Oh my gosh, and now you feel special. Oh, I am special. Now I can talk about them. Yeah, now everybody loves me because I can talk about them. That is not a good way to get that love from other people. But it's better, like the light attributes of the storytellers. Storytellers are good. So if you have that capability to do that, you can just change the stories that you're telling to other people. And then you have the ability to experience and express life through stories and symbols. So then you can go ahead and express what you're going through. Maybe the breakup, you can express it through making a picture of it, or you can poem about it. You can write a story about it. You can talk about it. And then you can turn it into something beautiful. Take your pain and turn it into something beautiful through storytelling, through sharing with other people, through making symbols, maybe just artwork. Pile number one. Pile number one. Life is the world is confusing for many reasons, for many, many, many reasons. And that's okay. That's going to probably always be like that. But it's okay to want to change the internal self into something that is not confusing. You can do that. You can change your internal self into something that is not confusing and something that is calm, something that is centered and content, strong, assertive, being in the now, being in the moment. You don't have to know the answers up front. When you're in the moment, the answers will come to you because you're now in a receiving mode. You're not trying to get anywhere. You're not trying to think about where you've been. You're just being in the moment. That's where you find. You remember that time back in the day where you felt completely alive. That's the feeling that you can get once you stop thinking. And tend to your internal self, your emotion. What kind of residue do you have? We all have residue from life because life is challenging. Life is difficult for everybody here on planet Earth. And the Queen of Fire is talking about passion, creative collaborations. Perhaps when you get out of your own resentments and out of your own mind, perhaps now you can find your internal self, allow the storyteller to come out, allow the forgiveness to come out, allow the healing to occur. And now you have the Queen of Fire, passionate soul connections. Inspired by spirit, passion inspired by spirit, spiritual guidance. Because now you take out the distractions, the confusion, the stress, the not knowing, and then you bring yourself back into the moment. And now you're igniting that fire within yourself. That is a soul connection, inspired by spirit. You're going to get new ideas. You're going to get, so it's curiosity. There's a new focus. Perhaps there's something that is not yet proven, but you think and you know that it will work. Judgment comes to anybody. So judgment will come to the ones that you hold the resentments to as well. Sometimes we just have to trust spirit and trust the bigger picture that it will take care of itself. You don't have to do anything with it. It will take care of itself. Whatever dirty deeds or whatever unfair things or rude or mean or horrible things that have happened to you, whatever those are, the karma, the people will have to deal with their own karma for doing those things. They have their own journey. They have their own spiritual inner self to take care of. You just have to take care of you. That's what makes this easy and doable. Pile number 1, judgment. Choices. Make amends. If you have to go back and make amends, I've done it. I've made amends to the people that I hurt. I know I hurt them. I know what I said hurt them. So I went back there. I made amends because I didn't want to hurt anybody. I know what it feels like to be hurt and to feel painful and sad and misused and abused. I know all these things. And so I didn't want to cause that to anyone else. I wanted them to feel good. And so question that you can you can ask yourself is going to be like, well, this idea, it calls for further investigation as we have only scratched the surface. Or you can ask yourself, pile number 1, this is your old self saying, if I explore this kind of thinking, what can I learn? What can I become? How can I feel if I explore this way of thinking? The judgment card, choices, make amends, atonement. It's urging you to make the amends that you need to do. Mend those wounds that you have created. Mend those, and then take a stand and stand up for yourself. The Empress, the accumulation of all the queens, that energy, you have everything. Like the Empress, abundance, maternal instincts. Now you have caring for other people than yourself. You're able to see outside of yourself, and you're able to go outside of yourself and help for the greater good. And having faith in the process and having trust in the bigger picture. Sometimes in life we have options that is manifesting in front of us. There are certain things, there are different things that look very enticing, and they come to you as options that you can choose from. And now this card is telling you, do your research before you jump on some things that look too good to be true. They often are too good to be true. So make sure you do your research and know what you're so that you can be best equipped to make the best choice. Because whatever you are doing here, whatever changes you are, whatever you're realizing that within yourself, you have the power to heal. You have the power to let go of everything that is holding you back. And also you have the power to talk about it, make stories about it, and make joy with it. And then you're going to get options of how to go about with these things. And you're going to get options for that. Make sure you do your homework. Do your homework, do your due diligence when you're checking out these different options, so you can put the best shoes on when you walk into that direction. It will require you to die. Well, not literally die, but kind of die. Like your ego die, like your old belief systems die, like your old stories in your head die, like your emotional wounds, they can die. Like you can go back there and you can allow them to fade away, and the resentments, they can die. And so old you, the old uneasy, pile number 1, waking up in the morning, feeling stressed out, feeling uneasy, don't really want to go into the world and into the day. That part is gonna die. You can say goodbye to that. It's a transformation, because when you say goodbye to that and allow that to fade away, you bring life, you make space for the new to grow, like the flowers in the dress, like nurturing, caring for others, able to look beyond your own self and your own resentments and your own hurt. Now you're able to look out to the world, and it will bring justice. So justice, fairness, responsibility, adjustments. Make sure the world is not going to be just. It's not, well, what we say, it's not fair. It's not fair. Yeah, there's a lot of things that's not fair. But justice, in a way, is sometimes we have to just find the justice within ourselves. Where are the scales, the pros and the cons in the situation? And how can you make that into a balanced way of living? Like, what would be justice to pile number one? Do you think justice is for pile number one to wake up every morning for the rest of their life feeling sick in their stomach? Or do you think justice for pile number one is waking up in the morning with excitement, and a sense of adventure to go into this, and a gratitude to go into this new day, and justice? And then your life will bring in what you want and what you need. Make a decision to heal. Make a decision to let go. Make a decision to tell stories. The thread, the alignment within will come with it. And then you will have justice, because now you found your good shoes. The stable ones. The good ones. Or you can go with the who you already are. Like, you can stay there. And then you can be all trapped up in a web of thoughts. There's you, the energy, all caught up in these, and terrified of all these swords that is around there. Terrified of them. Terrified of the swords. Standing there all wound up and caught up in a web of thoughts. And temporarily, in that state, you are not going anywhere. You're feeling powerless. You have limited belief systems. You believe in the lies and the deceits, and it causes a whole friction up in your head. A whole thing that is going on. Now you're going to wake up terrified, and you're going to wake up, oh my gosh, feeling very sick to your stomach. Or you can say goodbye to those things. Let them die. Let them go. Work on releasing it. Figure out how you can release these things, because you are already a healer. You can let it go. And that's one way that you, pile number one, can take full responsibility for your inner self. And I promise you, when you do this, everything in your life will change for the best, for the rest. That was your reading, pile number one. If you liked it, give me a thumbs up. If you want to subscribe to the channel, I appreciate it. The beautiful light in me, it honors, respects, and loves the same beautiful light in you. Until next time, namaste. Pile number two. How can you take responsibility for your inner self? Pile number two is waking up in the morning. Pile number two is walking right into a closed door. Pile number two knows that this is the final chapter in whatever pile number two is doing. And we also know that there is this force that is stopping us from moving forward as planned. The source is saying, no more, child. You have reached the last page of this chapter. Pile number two. Waking up in the morning knowing that it's a dead end. What you are doing is a dead end. It's daunting. It's depressing a little bit. It's definitely a little bit scary, uncertain. To know that whatever it is that you are doing is at a dead end. This is the card that you got drawn to. The good news is that now new doors are opening. If you're honest and courageous enough to accept, adjust, and adapt. Accept, adjust, adapt. The dead end becomes known as life's beginning. Spirit of Earth, how can you take responsibility for your inner self? First and foremost, when you have that feeling that something is at the dead end, you have to honor it. If you want to move forward, if you don't want to get stuck in the dead end, you have to move forward and you have to honor the knowledge that comes with it. And so, Spirit of Earth, it is telling you, you might be at a dead end, but pile number 2, you are so strong. You are grounded. Who you already are is already enough, just as you are. It's asking you to connect with nature and tend to your health. Tending to your health, spirit of earth, grounded, barefoot in the sand, barefoot in the grass, grounded, connected with Mother Earth. We are not a separate entity from her. We are nature. Detoxifying your body. We all are so surrounded by toxins, by unhealthy stuff. It's easy, accessible, it's addictive. All the stuff that comes very easily to us, and it's provided that way because the marketing people, they want our money, and we are going to pay for whatever easiness and makes it easier for you kind of thing. And so this card is asking to, how can you take responsibility for your inner self? Detoxify your body. Understand how to use your body physiology. Like, get familiar with your body, the muscles, the brain muscle connections. Can you feel the muscles in your fingers when you are crunching your hands together? Can you feel your wrist when you circle your hands a little bit? Can you feel your underarms? Like, can you tighten the muscles in your underarms and then up to your elbows? And do you have a mind-body connection so that you can activate these muscles when you need to, when you want to? It's a good practice to do that. It's a meditation practice too, and also you will take your attention away from your thoughts into your body, and then you will create stillness. Pay attention to how your body feels and respond accordingly. Listen to the message that your body is sending you. If your body is saying it needs something, then you should give it to it, because usually, even if it seems weird and it's something that you don't usually do or eat, then maybe you should just do it, because the body often will have you drawn to the things that you need. By taking care of your body, you're taking care of your internal self, and you're creating a good home for your soul to live while you are here on planet Earth. Create spaces in your home that are good for you. And know that you are one with everything. And it might feel chaotic at the dead end. Everything is stuffed up and condensed and dense. And then if you go outside, you breathe, you can break through that denseness so that you now can move away from the dead end, the darkness, the dead end, the stop, the closed doors, running in here, running there, trying this, trying that, nothing working. You're just bumping into the doors. Aligning yourself with Mother Nature. We're all an extension of Source, part of it. Aligning yourself with that is one great way to take responsibility for your inner self, And then we have the peaceful among thorns coming up here. So this one is sitting with the lotus light around himself in a meditation position, stillness, whereas behind this character, this person, behind there is all kinds of arrows and swords and thorns. But this character is just sitting there peaceful. And here is saying, pile number 2, beware of what you are projecting. For the qualities that you admire in one another are qualities that you both possess. Equally so, the qualities that you don't like are also your own reflection. Peaceful among thorns. This character is sitting there. So the world say, okay, I have a money problem. Well, go spiritual. I have a health problem. Go spiritual. But going spiritual is not going to help anything. It's not going to solve your situations that you have to deal with in your life or within yourself. It's not going to solve them for you. But it will give you depth. And it would add meaning to the choices that you make to enhance your world and to your solutions. It's going to make it meaningful, and it adds depth to our lives. Spirituality adds a connection to everything. And also it allows you to shed all those old belief systems, all those old stories that we don't need them anymore. And then you're going to be able to sit there peaceful among thorns. That's the depth that you bring into life. Life can feel like that, like it's a dead end, like it's dense, it's thick, it's all the confusion, all the anger, all the fear, everything, despair, all that stuff going on around. And then you do you take responsibility for your inner self, and you're going to be able to sit there and be peaceful among the thorns. And that's a beautiful thing. Rescuer. Sometimes life will sometimes, we have the victims, and we have the heroes or the helpers going above and beyond always to help other people, depleting themselves for everything on the way. So the shadow attributes, and the shadow attribute of being a rescuer. So pile number 2, you have it in you that you like to help people, you want to rescue people, you want to help them. So perhaps you're feeling the dead end, and you're wanting to help other people to not feel that dead end. So the rescuer, the shadow attributes, assuming that the rescued will reciprocate, and then therefore it will keep the rescued needy. So going in there to try and help them, but keeping them needy at the same time, so they will keep needing you. So basically you go in there and you don't really help them, you kind of help them, and then you make sure that you don't give them all the answers, or you don't uplift them quite, because then they might leave you, or you don't want to encourage this or that because they might just go away from you, or so there is all these ties to the rescue intention. The light attributes, now you're providing strength and support to others in crisis. Dead end, what it's like to be in a crisis. Now you can reach out and you can provide strength and support to others in crisis, acting out of love with no expectation of a reward. Fortune's wheel. So whatever you choose to do, if you want to stay in the dead end, Fortune's wheel is going to spin anyway. And the Fortune's wheel is your destiny meets synchronicity. So you're in awe of the experience of many meaningful coincidences. So you know how you see coincidences in your life, like right when you're doing a thing, and then, oh wow, all these things just come into play, and you're in the flow. Now your synchronicities and the things just align with you perfectly on your way. So this is one way that you can know that you're on the right. That's how you know that the doors are opening for you, because now you're walking in faith like the spirit of earth. Now you're open to the possibility coming to you, and you're opening up. So the fortune wheels is like spirit has your back, and you know this. And also you know that the gamble that you do is going to pay off. You are going to trust, and you're going to co-create in partnership with spirit. And you're going to see that your way moving forward is going to be clear to you, especially after the 4 of air is coming in here for healing, meditation, rest, recuperation. You're going to allow your mind to rest. And when you do, you will have a greater clarity. Your mind will be sharper. So this is a call. Take some time out. Get your situations set up. Make the wheel spin in your favor. Look at the synchronicities. Say goodbye to the old. It's asking you right here, peaceful among thorns. You may have been one of the thorns. So you may have been out there in the world just the way, being thorns, keeping people needy, and just not knowing really what you're doing. This peaceful among thorns is asking you to allow that part of you to die. Allow the part of you that is not good for other people, that is not helping the environment, that's not lifting for the greater good. Let that part of you die. And the Queen of Wands is like, wow. The Queen of Wands. So it's not the end. The death is not the end. It's the start of a powerful new beginning. Inevitable endings. Dead end. Inevitable. You cannot. It is ended. It has ended. It must end. It's inevitable. And so with that, there's a new beginning. And that's what we're looking at here. This is taking a responsibility for your inner self, in like high level inner self. And Queen of Wands, she's beautiful. She's just beautiful. She's bringing beauty and charisma and joy, cheerful and caring. And this Queen's enthusiasm is sparking positive energy in others. So now you're going to say goodbye to the thorns being a part of that, and embrace the meditation, create your own fortune. So one, you take responsibility for your inner self. Now pile number 2 is going to be able to wake up in the morning feeling strong. Pile number 2 is going to be able to wake up in the morning and have a mission, have a focus, have an aim. And pile number 2 is just going to aim high. Pile number 2 is aiming high. And so you have to say goodbye to the thorns and the things that no longer serve you. And you can use other people as a mirror. The things that you admire in others, you also have them. The things that you don't like in others, you also have them. This is a foundation for a spiritual to-do list. The things that you don't like in others, you can write them down, and then you can work on these things and figure out how to solve it within yourself. Rescuer is good to help others, reach out, rescue, like to take care of others is a good thing. Unless, of course, you just want to keep them needy and make sure that they need you. Now you are needed somewhere, and then just keep them there because now you feel good, you're needed. And you can do that if you want to, it's a free will, but you might be better off. Your life will feel better. You'll be more joyous, more adventurous, having more fun and all that. So we have the King of Swords, brilliant and inspiring presence. It's a mastermind. This character, this energy has the highest perspective and the greatest authority. People look up to this person. People respect their vision because they have vision outside of themselves. They have taken responsibility. They have taken the responsibility for their inner self, and now they are now they're reaching out to the greater good. And so King of Swords energy is a great energy. It's a great authority, and will also help others, but not because of wanting to be needed. That person wouldn't be a king. The needy person wouldn't be a king. So whoever that needy person is that needs someone to look after them, the Ten of Swords is also the ending of a painful cycle. That might be your painful cycle. Pile number 2, you might be in a painful cycle because you are saying goodbye to the old you, which is always a little bit painful. The thorns, you're saying goodbye to the thorns, and that is the dead end. Where the thorns are, it's not going to take you anywhere. It's inevitable. You have to change. And then you find the foundation and the grounding with the earth, the fortune, the synchronicities. You're looking at that. You're taking rest, taking care of yourself, letting that part of you that is the thorns, that is hurting others because it makes you feel better, or just jazzing it out there a little bit because you want to stir up the pot, or whatever it is that you do, you allow that to go. And now you can bring in the beautiful, beautiful ray of sunshine, that energy of the Queen of Wands, igniting light in other people just by your presence, which is a beautiful thing. Also, she has the beauty, she has the grace, she has the authority, and people look up to her. So that's the kind of energy that you want to be in. And the rescuer, saying goodbye to the part that might want to keep other people needy so that they need them. And trust that the people that are meant to be in your life are going to be there. Also, this can be a card of rock bottom, that you really are on rock bottom. It is a dead end. It might be a rock bottom. If you're in a rock bottom, all I can say, I've been in many rock bottoms. It sucks and it's tough. It's challenging. It's everything that is not fun, but it's the most rewarding place that you can be in. If you're at rock bottom, you should say, congratulations, I am on rock bottom. Now I only have one choice, and that is going aiming up. You cannot go any further down. You've done all the choices that you could to bring yourself down. Now is your chance to scratch all that. Say goodbye to it. It's the ending of a painful cycle. Now you're going to be able to say, well, you know what? I'm going to aim up. I'm going to change my thinking. I'm going to aim up. I'm going to look at the synchronicities. I'm going to take time out to meditate so that I can be peaceful amongst the chaos and the conflicts and everything that is going on in the world. Chariot. So, the mind without control, your power, your internal power. So how can you take responsibility for your inner self? If you don't take responsibility for your inner self, the chariot is going to go everywhere. Like you're not going to have control. It has no reins on there. You don't have control over these things. They're going to take you in whatever direction is calling their name, or whatever direction is blinging something over there. Oh, there's a bling. Okay, I'm going to go there. Oh, there's something over there. Okay, I'm going to go there. Oh, there's something in there. Okay, I'm going to go there. And so this chariot is going to take you all these different directions and all and everywhere if you don't have any sense of control. And this is your mind. It's your mind. So power without control is at best undermined and counterproductive. And at worst, it is self-destructive. And it might be the self-destruction that has gotten you into the dead end. That's good news too, because now you're in power. You have the power to also change that. And the chariot, when you take the reins of your internal world, and you are steering it towards where you want to go. If you want joy and happiness, then you want to steer it towards that. You want adventure, you want to steer it towards that. And you're aligning your thinking, you're aligning your body, you're aligning your thoughts and everything in that direction so that you have an aim and you have a strategy to get there. Don't hold back, be completely engaged. This is saying don't hold back, go into this process fully, pile number 2. You're going to have a great experience, a great transformational experience, and go into this with full force. Full power. And the Knight of Pentacles is here. Is follow through. Be completely engaged. And this one here is just offering his stamina, endurance, and physicality. So you're being there. You're offering your presence, which is a beautiful thing. When it's done in a beautiful way. And also to keep your cool, to keep your presence, to stay within yourself, aligned amongst all these things that are going on around, is a beautiful thing. And that pile number 2, that was your message today. If you liked it, give me a thumbs up. If you want to subscribe to the channel, I sure would appreciate it. The beautiful light in me, it honors, it respects, and it supports you on this way into your internal bliss, your internal joy, and your internal strength. I believe in you. I've been in rock bottom. I know it's tough. I know also it is definitely doable. To get out of it, you just have to do one day at a time, one step at a time, and you are going to be able to take your inner world and steer it in the direction that you want. Until next time, pile number 2, namaste. Pile number 3, how can you take responsibility for your inner self? Pile number 3, you got drawn to the mirror. The mirror is a beautiful way to start taking responsibility for your inner self. How do you talk to yourself in the mirror? What do you see when you're in the mirror? You see a reflection. It's an illusion. So pile number 3 gets up in the morning and looks in the mirror. And what you see in the mirror is an illusion. It's the looking glass. They can shatter, so the mirror can shatter, it can flatter, distort, and reflect and project an image back that we think is true. And it's all about our self-perception. Remember Narcissus, who fell in love with his own reflection that he died from it. He was so in love with his own reflection that he died from it. And so you don't want to get too wrapped up in your own in your own reflection. Reflections are fleeting. It's a part of the ego. Like there is something deeper in there, behind the face in the mirror and behind the labels and the projections or the thoughts that you think it might have to be. And there's something more behind there. And how do you speak to yourself when you see yourself in the mirror? Pile number 3, do you get up in the morning, you look yourself in the mirror and say, ah, it's a beautiful day. Hello, beautiful. How are you? I feel beautiful. I feel strong. I feel great. I feel courageous. I feel capable of handling my life. I feel capable of handling the people in my life. I feel capable of handling whatever comes my way. Or do you look yourself in the mirror and be like, oh my gosh, look at that wrinkle over there. And now it's starting to get gray hairs. And oh my gosh, this is horrible. And look at the nose. I can't stand my nose or my ears. Or wow, I need to lose some weight. Or I need to get to the gym. Or, you know, all these things. How do you speak to yourself in the mirror? That is a way that you can set all those things that are negative, that are not being your own best friend and bringing yourself up. You can put those on your spiritual to-do list right now and start working on them, because they don't serve you any good and they are creating a lot of unnecessary suffering for you. Pile number 3. Pile number 3 is smart. So pile number 3 is going to fix the reflection coming back in the mirror. And that's how pile number 3 is going to take responsibility for her his inner self. You are now answering the call. Answering the call. You have been called. If you're waiting for your life to shift, the waiting is over. Your true and authentic life is happening. Your spirit guides, your ancestors, your loved ones, the ones that have passed on, they are sending you messages. Love and healing and messages. Now in coming days, signs will be all around you. So watch for them. Believe and follow the signs. So you are going to see a lot of signs coming in for you. And look at the signs. Follow the signs. Do what they tell you. Then you will be on a different route. And it's going to be transformation. So your relationship with one another, transformation is about to deepen. Love conquers and transforms all things. This can be your relationship with yourself. We're not supposed to have a relationship with ourselves. We're just supposed to be ourselves and just be ourselves in this space. But we have created a whole identity of ourselves that is in our head. So now you have a relationship with yourself. And lo and behold, it's better to love yourself than to hate yourself. So definitely do the mirror thing and put that in there. But, you know, you are supposed to just be yourself and you are okay. And knowing that is bringing yourself back into who you are, truly who you are. The atonement card is accepting the full burden. So sometimes you see this girl, she has all those swords in her back, but she's not bleeding. Sometimes accepting the pain can make it easier to go through it. It doesn't mean that you have to stay in the pain. It doesn't mean that you have to let people keep their swords in your back. They stabbed you in your back and now you're just so used to it, it doesn't bother you anymore. And so you just walk around there with the swords in your back. The atonement card. It's about taking the full burden of responsibility, the fair as well as the unfair, with no discount. You are paying the bills. You have a full and open acceptance of consequences. You know what the consequences for behaviors are. With the atonement card, you even take responsibility and take on other people's burdens. They're not yours to shoulder, but you are doing it because you want to create a clean slate. Pile number 3 is smart. Pile number 3 decides that, you know what? Heck, what the heck? I've already suffered so many things. Why don't I just take on all of that and then I can let it go and release it? And I don't even need the other person's opinion. I don't need their forgiveness. I don't need their words. I don't need them to come in and do anything. I can clear my own slate. Pile number 3 was very smart. Very smart, because sometimes paying more than is due just to create closure for yourself and for others. So you take the dark in so that other people can stay in the light. Liberator, though. Liberator. So that's kind of what you're doing here. You're liberating other people from their pain. You are working through it. You're creating a clean slate, taking out all those swords and just send them back to your sender or whatever, and liberating them. You're freeing yourself and others from outmoded beliefs, releasing negative thought patterns. Answering the call, releasing negative thought patterns. Liberator, shadow attributes, imposing your own tyranny over those you claim to liberate. So you claim that you're going to help them be free, but you have to be under my control and command. I am in your control and command, pile number 3, and you just got to stay there. And then, and then I'm going to liberate you in my command. And you'll be like, dang, but I don't like that command. I don't want to be liberated like that. So you're going to be able to free yourself and others from outmoded beliefs, releasing negative thought patterns. Atonement, creating a clean slate. All the words and the opinions and the hurt and the sadness and pain that is caused by other people, you are going to wipe the slate clean, because you can. You look in the mirror and you hear all those voices talking to you, what they've been saying all around you throughout your life. You're going to clean that slate, and you're just going to leave it there and let it be transforming. You're going to transform your relationship with yourself. You're not in a relationship with yourself. You are yourself. And if you are in a relationship with yourself, which is one of the first things to be aware of in awakening process, is to love yourself for everything that you are. Put your little love notes everywhere in your house. Put your little love notes. Get little pop-ups in your phone throughout the day. And then with little love notes from yourself that you are worthy, you are lovable, you are kind, you are loved. You are everything that you want to be. You're confident, you're calm, you're serene, you're peaceful, you're assertive. All the things that you want, put them around you so you can see them. And now you can liberate yourself from old, outdated belief and negative thought patterns. So all this is great. And you're answering the call. Pile number 3, that's the most important part. How can you take responsibility for yourself? You can look in the mirror. You can see, what are you reflecting back to yourself? What are you saying? Also, the mirror can be other people. The mirror can be meeting other people, and they reflect pieces of your behavior to you that they may think that you need to change, or that they may think that is good. But sometimes people do it for manipulation. They want you to do certain things. But once you're attuned and you're walking and co-creating with spirit, you will be able to discern the difference. And so when spirit speaks to you, it's just showing you things that you might be better off without or with. So you can mirror that in other people and see qualities that you would like to pick up, because they would better your situation. It would allow you to do more for the greater good. It would allow you to do more for yourself and for the people in your life. And the Magician. So answering the call. Magician is wonderful. Like, you have all the tools that you need. Magician, yeah, like when you are aligned, Magician is saying to you, like, when I am aligned with spirit's will, miracles are possible. So when I co-create with spirit, miracles are possible everywhere around me. And when I remember my partnership with spirit, all is well. Answering the call, co-creating with spirit, liberating others from negative thought patterns. Yes, that's co-creating with spirit. Cleaning up your own slate. Don't worry about what blame, name calling, all that stuff. Don't worry about that. Just clean your slate and get over it, because you don't need it anymore. Just let it be. Let it go. And then the Magician is saying, when you co-create, when you are aligned with spirit, everything is possible, and there are miracles abounding around every corner. And how about that? Who doesn't want that? Pile number 3, you are very smart. Strength card showing up here. Strength card. When I allow spirit to work through me, I can move mountains. I go the distance, and I trust divine timing in my life. You are answering the call. Magician and the Strength card. King of Swords. Clear, logical mind, quick learner, problem solver, The king of the word, the king on the hill of the top. Well, the king is good. King can also use that energy to liberate yourself. Like take those swords out so that you can go ahead and level up and take all that power back, so that now you can come into your own king of swords, like king of, your rational mind, you know how to think, you know how to be strategic, you know how to put things together in a plan, you know how to make it work for you. And doing that with co-creating with spirit, you are going to be able to pull out every single sword that has been stabbed in your back, and you're going to use it for your own good afterwards. Four of Pentacles, stingy. Don't be stingy. You don't have to. The universe is abundant. There's so much abundance, and there's a lock on every single thing here. Like, so there's going to be a lot of keys that you're going to need to get into this one. So the Four of Pentacles is scarcity mindset, atonement, scarcity mindset. So these are the challenges that is showing up right here. Is, okay, you don't need a relationship with yourself. You are yourself. You just have to learn how to be yourself. Scarcity mindset. Five of Pentacles. Scarcity mindset. Four of Pentacles. There is so much abundance. There's so much abundance. And when you're co-creating with spirit, spirit will make sure that you have everything you need when you need it. You just gotta trust that good old divine timing of things, putting your best foot forward, answering the call, taking care of all those unnecessary sufferings that you're attached to, that is attached to you, cleaning your slate, being a liberator, going out there. King of Cups, overflowing of emotion. This one has love and empathy and unconditional love, and is taking his leadership skills out to the world so that people can follow and find their liberation. Now the King of Cups and the King of Swords energy here is going to be the Ace of Swords, going to put that together, going to bring it out to the world in a message that is going to help people free them from outmoded beliefs and releasing negative thought patterns. You taking responsibility for your inner self, pile number 3, co-creating with spirit, opening up that when you see in the mirror, you be like, hey, I'm a vessel for spirit. How cool is that? Let's see what this day brings on. And then you look for the signs, you look for the synchronicities, and you go in that direction that they guide you to go in. And lo and behold, there you are, creating all this beautiful stuff, helping people liberate them from old, outdated, negative thought patterns, which create so much suffering. We create so much suffering. Pile number 3, unnecessary suffering, because millions of people out there, they are not taking responsibility for their inner self. They do not know how to, they don't know that they can. And so they're not taking responsibility for their inner self. They're walking around with so much suffering and pain and chaos inside that it's like they need medication. They have to take pills and everything. And in order to just keep going, they wake up in the morning and it sucks. They go to bed at night, they're exhausted. They wake up in the morning, it sucks. They go to bed at night, exhausted. And here you are, pile number 3, breaking out of that cycle. Breaking out of that cycle, you're taking responsibility for your inner self. You're going to be like, you know what? I'm here on planet Earth. I'm going to enjoy it. It's an adventure. It's a growth process. It's an opportunity to better myself so that I can live a better life for myself and the people in it. And Mother Earth and all the animals on the planet too. So you're answering the call. King of Cups, overflowing, taking on that leadership quality, being unconditionally loving to people. I mean, there are so many people out there. They're all God's people. They all love spirit. They all love source. They all love God. But lo and behold, are they going to talk to one another? No, because they have different methods of showing their love for God. Is that crazy or what? So, 6 of Wands, social acceptance. So whatever you are doing, however you are doing it, it will be socially accepted. Sometimes the socially accepted part needs a little adjustment time just to make sure that they understand it. It's not scaring them anymore. Now they know that you are also on the good side, or you're doing it for the greater good. Now they can relax and trust. And when they do that, then you will have socially acceptance. You will also draw in teamwork from other people. and you're going to be winning. This is a card of victory and success and socially be, so this is the Fool right there. And the Fool, you know, he set out there on the journey with hopes and with a sack of hope and faith in his backpack. So stepping out in faith, allowing Spirit to do the rest of the work. You just have to answer the call. You just have to take the first step, walk out there, look for these synchronicities, and take moments in the day when you reassess yourself and you go within, so that you know that you are walking in your truth with Spirit. And so using yourself as a vessel like that, and to be open, like, let me be a instrument for good here on this planet, and then allow Spirit to walk through you, work through you. And then you can, then you take responsibility for your inner self. And when you take responsibility for your inner self, pile number 3, I'm not kidding, everything around you is going to change, and it's going to change for the better, for the best, for the rest. Transformation. Answering the call. Work on, put on your spiritual to-do list. Scarcity mindset. The world is abundant. There's no need to hold on too tight to things. There's no need for fearful attachments to things. And it's abundant. 5 of Pentacles. Worry. Leave the worry behind. Have faith instead. Transform from worry into faith. And answer the call. Walk your path. Do your thing. Pile number 3 is going to be victorious. It all starts with taking responsibility for your inner self. If you like the message, give me a thumbs up. If you want to subscribe to the channel, I would love to have you here. Thank you for allowing me to be a part of your spiritual journey. And I applaud you already for clicking on this and listening to this reading, because that's the first step of wanting to take responsibility for your inner self. And the beautiful light in me, pile number 3, loves, it respects the same beautiful light in you. And until next time, namaste.